Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a couple of cookie crazy kids in love that love reacting to some death battle.
This one's like a one. It's a big deal one.
Yeah, Sauron versus the Lich King. If you follow us on our other channel, we do a World of Warcraft journey. And so we checked out a bunch of stuff for World of Warcraft. And obviously, big fans of Lord of the Rings. Bethany more so than me. Not that I'm not a fan of Lord of the Rings, but I'm just saying she's more of a fan. She's read the books and everything.
I say I've read the books and he's only seen the movies.
Exactly. Bethany's gonna explain real quick how we do death battle on this channel because we got a bet going.
Yeah. So the way that we do it is we have money. We will bet on who we think the winner of the death battle is going to be, and we have different amounts that we can bet. At the end of our betting period, which will be closer towards the end of the year. Whoever has the most money gets to choose as our cosplay outfits for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
So this is all down below in the description of this video, along with a playlist for all of our death battle reactions. Right now, Bethany's up 265 to 250. She won last week. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and check this out. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Got a lead to defend.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by Bespoke Post and Shady Rays. Sauron, the Lord of the Rings.
The Lich King, Warcraft's Lord of the Scourge.
Evil has many shapes, but few can match the presence of these kings of blight and shadow.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Yeah! Let's make it one.
Within the timeless halls, at the dawn of creation, the supreme god Eru and his angelic Ainur created all of existence through a single harmonious song.
But one of these angels just had to be a rebel. Melkor ruined that harmony, giving the world its many, many imperfections, like Wiz. Then after messing up God's hit single and going rogue, Melkor took up a new name just to be even more metal, Morgoth.
Morgoth's power was impressive, daunting. Several Maiar, essentially lower-ranked angels, joined him in his frightening conquest of the world he had helped create.
And the greatest of these followers was one obsessed with destroying all life in the pursuit of bringing about complete order.
He used to be Myron, but under Morgoth's reign, he became the one and only Sauron.
Damn.
As the bigwig of Morgoth's forces, Sauron spent thousands of years bringing Middle-earth to its knees.
He's almost more a force of nature than anything else, able to create infernos, cause country-spanning earthquakes, and even absorb souls.
And because he's a weird angel spirit man, he can morph his body around his own soul however he wants, or just shed it like clothing and fight as a ghost.
He can morph far beyond that. He has appeared as something akin to both man and elf, attractive and devious. A werewolf, once thought to be the greatest wolf of all, and even a vampire.
Oh man, Tumblr's gonna go nuts with that.
Many of his greatest accomplishments are not due to his powerful magics and weaponry, but his inhuman cunning. Sauron is nothing less than a master of manipulation.
He's like if Loki and Satan did a fusion dance. He loves to trick someone with illusions, shadow magic, or just by toying with their sad, predictable, pathetic human emotions. When he convinced Saruman to join the evil side, who was basically a super wizard specifically meant to lead the charge against Sauron.
In some ways, Sauron is actually wiser than the master he served. In the most epic war to eclipse all other wars, humans, dwarves, elves, and more united to destroy Morgoth, casting what remained of Melkor into the void.
But Sauron saw it coming and bailed faster than me at a divorce hearing, just to show back up centuries later in the fiery pits of Mordor.
There, the Dark Lord created a plan to conquer everything. He fooled the elven smiths into forging 19 rings of power and planted them among the leaders of elven, man, and dwarven kind, all controlled by another ring he made in secret.
The one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. Oh god, that's so epic. Victory now. Forged in the fires of Mount Doom using part of Sauron's own soul, the One Ring amplified his power and let him control the minds and actions of the other ring bearers.
The 9 kings of men were especially vulnerable and saw themselves reduced to twisted wraiths bent to Sauron's whims.
It wasn't any better for the less kingly humans, so much so that Sauron mind-controlled most of Numenor. We're talking about an island nation that could have had as many as 18 million people, and Sauron had them all at his creepy, pokey fingertips.
This led to retaliation from Eru, who had hardly directly intervened ever before, even against Morgoth.
Well, now it's
Eru
time.
sank Numenor, while Sauron was still on it. But the Dark Lord spirit persevered, indestructible even against the wrath of God.
Sauron used the ring to build himself a new body. It may have cost a lot of power, but he took a biblical event to the face and went right back on to being evil.
And yet, putting so much power into one object did have drawbacks.
Which hit back hard when Isildur subtracted a digit from his hand.
The Warrior King did more than just cut off a finger. He took the ring and its power for himself. This act forced Sauron to retreat as a disembodied spirit, threatened by his own power in the hands of another. And should the One Ring be destroyed completely, Sauron's spirit could be rendered impotent beyond repair. It isn't all bad, though. The ring can turn you invisible, create visions of impending doom, and has one hell of a defense mechanism.
Yeah, who'd want to destroy it when it makes you want it? Has a will of its own, with promises whispered even the best of us can't refuse. The greatest poultry dinner ever, Boomstick. Bourbon, pecan, parmesan, turducken. It's so precious.
What did you just do?
What? It sounded delicious. Well, ring or no ring, Sauron's a beast. He's swatted away armies of soldiers and erupted Mount Doom through sheer willpower. He has total control over his own being and can modify his soul at will. So he can definitely resist someone like spooky ghost Celebrimbor trying to dominate a spirit.
And being among the strongest Maiar, the peak of Sauron's power is beyond that of Osei, a lesser Maya, which is specifically important because Osei single-handedly raised the island of Numenor.
Yeah,
wow.
remember that island that got Noah'd? That place. No wonder everyone wants his ring. Who could turn down that much power?
Not Isildur. The hearts of men are easily corrupted, and he kept the ring rather than destroy it. But in the end, the ring destroyed him and waited for its master's return.
Sauron was rebuilding Mordor into a world-conquering force. And after a little bit of good old-fashioned torture, he found out the ring was in the Shire. The chillest, coziest, dopest place imaginable. Oh man, when I retire, I'm gonna go live in a hobbit hole and just get lit 24/7.
So began the War of the Ring. Sauron's forces covered the land, seeking both the ring and the downfall of man, always shadowed by the symbol of his ever-present influence, the Eye of Sauron.
It was a slaughterfest. Middle-earth stood no chance. Everybody basically accepted death by orcs as inevitable. It was hopeless. The kingdoms of men would finally fall for good.
Save for the Dark Lord's truest weakness. Sauron's cunning and stratagems were impressive, sure, but ultimately, he never truly understood the people of Middle-earth. In his mind, absolute power was factually irresistible. He never imagined a mere mortal could ever or would ever seek to actually destroy the One Ring.
Against all odds and a whole lot of walking, Sauron was defeated. Not by the sparkly new king or the armies of Middle-earth, but by the most unlikely creature imaginable, Elijah Wood.
Yet, even as a formless shadow, Sauron's legacy remains one of domination, treachery, and most of all, fear. Fitting for the being that represents, and I quote, as near an approach to the holy evil will as is possible.
Wow.
Damn, that's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, there's a lot I didn't know about him.
This episode
Yeah,
of
me
Death Battle is
too.
sponsored by Bespoke Post.
On the distant planet of Draenor, destruction was imminent. The orc shaman Ner'zhul prepared a spell with his followers to tear the planet asunder, all to escape the fury of the demon lord Kil'jaeden.
But when Ner'zhul waltzed through the portal, Kil'jaeden was right there waiting for him.
Ner'zhul was forced to serve Kil'jaeden's will to ravage another world, Azeroth. Thus, he was transformed into the first Lich King.
This Lord of the Dead was sent to the continent of Northrend, but Kil'jaeden had one more twist for poor Zul. His body was gone, leaving just his spirit, which was bound to a set of armor sealed within a prison of magical ice. Man, this guy can't catch a break. Armor looks sick, though. He's gonna possess me if I put that on, huh?
From his frozen prison, the Lich King would begin his conquest, conjuring an unstoppable plague of undeath. Soon, this would threaten the lives of the kingdom of Lordaeron.
Okay, so that was a lot, but here's where our main guy finally shows up. Lordaeron's crown prince and holy knight, Arthas Menethil. Yeah, his name does kind of sound like something your doctor would give you for fungus, but hey, no, Arthas was a badass. At 19 years old, he was considered one of the best swordsmen in the world and had mastered nearly every weapon he could.
Even with such a skilled warrior as its prince, Lordaeron was already severely pressured by a war with an
interned at
horde,
Blizzard in
so a
2017.
zombie plague was the last thing Arthas needed. Compounding this even further, Ner'zhul managed to break free of Kil'jaeden's power and turned his attention toward creating a champion to lead his ever-growing scourge. Naturally, he chose Arthas.
Who was a stressed out mess, to the point where he tried to stop the plague by killing everyone in his own city. Holy shit! Yeah, he was totally losing it. So hearing a creepy voice in his head really didn't help.
Long story short, in his efforts to protect his realm, Arthas discovered a rune blade and took it for himself. This was the fearsome Frostmourne.
Surprise! It's the source of the Lich King's power. He was stealing souls and storing them within the blade. With this new ice-cold cleaver in hand, Arthas lost his soul and got a Death Knight makeover.
And so the former hero of light would lead the very scourge he previously fought.
And in time, Arthas would don the armor for himself, giving the Lich King a new, ultimate power. Walking!
Everything the Lich King had done up until this point had been from his prison within a literal block of ice.
And this new Sauronite armor, Saronite armor, is the best. Like, what was it doing stuck in ice all this time when it's made of old god blood and self-repairs? Screw you, blacksmith, you're never taking my hard-earned gold. I'll never have to get naked and die again.
By donning this dark helm, Ner'zhul and Arthas fused to become one, a being far more powerful than either had been
Resistant to
before.
magic.
He can effortlessly cover cities in ice storms, murder hundreds with the power of shadow, and learn all of your secrets with the Eye of Acheris.
Azeroth's fate was sealed. Everyone was doomed.
See this guy? He's Illidan, a 15,000-year-old demon hunter with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. As a Death Knight, Arthas could take him down, even after fighting through a massive army to get to him. Against this new Lich King, Illidan never stood a chance.
This is important because Illidan had absorbed the power of Gul'dan, an orc warlock who, alongside his followers, raised the Broken Isles out of the sea, a massively powerful feat of magic.
The fact that Arthas, a mortal guy, beat him up is a big deal. Just imagine how kick-ass he'd be in full control of the undying Lich King powers. Oh wait, we don't have to.
Ner'zhul may have pulled Arthas' strings up until this point, but he had made a drastic miscalculation. Within the mind of the Lich King, Arthas battled Ner'zhul for control and won. The power of Frostmourne, of the Scourge, of Undeath itself was now under the command of Arthas.
And by this point, he was just done. Like, with everything. We've all had one of those days, right? Where you see all of humanity is so pathetic they can only be saved by just killing them all, so you rip out your own heart. Yeah, relatable.
Determined to end all life, Arthas led his scourge across Azeroth, spreading the plague to every corner of the world. He slaughtered every contender in his path, including legendary champions like this hero of the Horde, Dranosh Sarfang.
Who the Lich King bitch slapped to death in one hit, then zombified to serve him instead. Man, that didn't go well.
The Lich King seemed unstoppable.
Only one thing could take him down. A 25-man raid team of the best nerds World of Warcraft servers had to offer. And that one guy who was just there because he was friends with somebody, but damn, he sucked.
When the hero was triumphant, the Paladin Tyrion shattered Frostmourne with an equally legendary blade, ending the Lich King's vile reign.
But the Scourge doesn't work on Phantom Menace battle droid rules, so there must always be a Lich King to keep the relentless undead in check.
Yet no Lich King before or since ever matched the terror and malice Arthas brought to Azeroth.
Without a doubt, one of the most terrifying kings to ever conquer the world of Warcraft.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they did a good job pumping up both.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
I'm keeping my conservative streak going on. Just $5 on this bet as well. Because I'm already down. I could bet big and try to come back, but I'm not fully confident that either one person's gonna win this. So I'm going with Sauron. One, because he's like the original. Also because it looked like Frostmourne could be destroyed by another weapon. And they said the ring was pretty much indestructible. That's also why I'm going with Sauron. And then finally, because of the manipulation that Sauron can do. And I think that Arthas is going to be susceptible to that because he's susceptible to the manipulation from Frostmourne.
I had also thought about Arthas being easily manipulated.
No, you didn't.
And I just love how they wrapped up Sauron saying he is the closest thing, and I hope I'm quoting this correctly, but like he is the closest thing to holy evil will that there could be. And I was just like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Lich King is cool, but like people pass through the Lich King and like come and go through that what am I trying to think? That like vessel of power. But Sauron is Sauron. He's always there. He's lived thousands of years. So I'm also gonna go with Sauron. The only thing that was making me kind of a little bit second guessing it was that the Lich King's armor is resistant to magic.
Yeah.
And it said like holy magic and light magic in particular. And so I was hearing that like holy evil will and like holy magic. And I was like, ooh, is there like, you know, after you watch a few of these, you're like, I'm trying to read between the lines. And what are they telling us?
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous because they're not telling us anything yet. So I'm also going to go on with Sauron. Now, you're betting 5.
Yep.
And I don't want to bet the same that you bet.
Okay.
So I'm going to bet 10.
Oh, damn. Okay.
On Sauron.
This is good. See, this is why the betting helps because each week we'll go back and forth between who bets first. And that'll help also like with the betting strategy because, you know, then you have a lead. So now you can afford to bet $10. And, you know, if you lose, then I still gain a little bit. So, man, it's a tough one. I don't know who I'm going to be cheering for.
Let's do it. Let's see it.
Okay. You're all ready.
I'm so ready.
All right.
All right, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for an undeath battle!
Nice pose.
I shall claim what is mine. In this cold north, you will find only death.
Sorry, he loves death. Awesome. Oh, yeah! Take a snowball. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I'll tear out your heart. You will find nothing.
Oof.
Your efforts are for naught. I see
The eye. Always watching. Oh, and drew some blood.
Pushing flexing now as the blade takes souls.
Ah.
you serve me now. I serve no one.
Okay.
Yep, because he can transform into like.
Witness the prophecy of your doom.
Oh. Eye against eye.
He has an eye of his own.
Sweet.
Oh, I like that. Like
Fitting.
As
Yeah.
he sits in the.
Fitting. Nice.
KO! Well, if he wasn't all powerful before, look out for supercharged Sauron now.
Despite the Lich King's impressive power, Sauron's might was absolute.
Yeah.
But not before he got the duel of his life in a crazy close bout. First up, both Dark Lords could counter pretty much any mind or soul-screwing powers, making a lot of their usual tricks way less noteworthy in this match.
To be fair, the Lich King severely debilitated Sauron via his plague of undeath. Most physical bodies would not survive such a disease.
So Sauron just got rid of his body. Who needs it? Especially when you can rebuild one or just start fighting as a ghost. Both
Yeah.
things Sauron could do.
After all, the plague is intended for organic mortal enemies and has
Less
never
experience, less
infected a
powerful.
spirit.
Another smaller point for Sauron was his weakness. The Lich King was a clever bastard, but even with the Eye of Icarus, it would have been tough for him to decode and destroy the One Ring. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
given enough power, Sauron would naturally end up destroying Frostmourne. He's kinda got a thing for breaking swords.
So let's compare their power. While their highest limits are certainly nebulous, interestingly enough, some of the most impressive feats from both worlds involve lifting islands. As Sauron is a more powerful Maya than Osei, and the Lich King could reliably defeat someone with Gul'dan's magic, it is possible to gauge the difference in power by measuring the islands that were raised.
Keep in mind, Gul'dan had a bunch of help, so we're only giving him his share. Turns out, Osei was doing twice the work.
By examining official maps to determine the volume of the islands, we
Wow.
found a difference between lifting 2 quadrillion tons of rock versus 4 quadrillion tons, among further energy required to actually lift these through the ocean, of course. Both impressive, sure, but Sauron had the edge.
And for the final nail in the coffin, the Lich King might have been super scary, but he really wasn't around for all that long. At least not when compared to the experience Sauron has warring with the world for thousands of years.
Yeah.
The Lich King certainly posed a threat to Sauron, but the ruler of Mordor's awesome might, enduring spirit, and millennia of treachery proved him the superior Dark Lord.
Wow!
Is that it?
What? Are you sour on the pun? I was pretty keen about it.
The winner is Sauron.
Okay, so both won, but you won more. So you got 275, I got 255. So you increased your lead to 20 now.
Yes.
It's all right. You know, it's long. It's long. It's just the first month.
Last year we did this up until Thanksgiving, so there is a
Yeah.
lot of time for this to fluctuate.
A lot of time for me to catch up. I'm not too worried about it. It's all right. You know, I'm just getting my betting strategy going right now and feeling things out, and it's okay.
They did a great job with this.
Yeah.
I loved the part where Sauron is lifting up the Lich King and he says, "I will
Ooh.
rip out your heart," and the Lich
Yeah.
King says, "You will find nothing there." I mean, just well done on the script.
And the voice of Sauron was great. And yeah, so really good job with that. And I thought the battle itself was a lot of fun. I mean, Sauron, one, getting infected, and then two, like going in and like turning into the eye. Like, I mean, that's great that they gave us the eye. We wanted to see it and saw it.
And the wolf, they gave us the wolf.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna turn into a vampire too at some point. I'm like, okay, cool. He's gonna turn into like all the things that he turned into before. So, and I was wondering, like, well, also, like, there must always be like a Lich King or whatever to like control the dead. But like Sauron already really kind of controls the dead. So I didn't think that like he would have to like put on the armor or something like that. And so I always kind of like wonder about that. I think there was another battle. Maybe it was Guts and Nightmare, where if you grab like the sword or something like that, you turn into, I think it was Nightmare, and Guts, like, you know, didn't fall for that. But I was wondering if they're going to try to do something like that with this one too, like, you know, but Sauron puts on the Lich King armor, so really the Lich King still lives or something. But they haven't done that yet with anything, which I like.
I also love the fact that Sauron just takes his throne. You know, to add insult to injury, he's beaten him and now taken his throne. It was so well done, so in character.
The last two that we've seen so far have told fun stories, kind of like throughout the battles as well. Like the battles themselves have had good animation. I really like the animation in this one, but also it's like, you know, they were just like you said, like the script was really good in these short little battles that they've done.
Kind of piggybacking off that for the animation, I loved how this one really started with magic rather than combat, like hand-to-hand combat, because there's the sort of like purple spirits that are wrapping around Sauron and like trying to kind of like smother him or whatever. And then he just grabs one. I mean, so I loved the fact that we had a taste of that. Then we got hand-to-hand combat. Then we had shape-shifting and magic combat again with the hands. I mean, like, so they really touched on a variety, which was great because it kept it very interesting.
Y'all let us know what you thought about this battle down below in the comments. And if you want all of our death battle reactions, we got playlists down below in the description of this video. Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for this death battle, Sauron versus the Lich King, but just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.